Welcome, Dietrich, to the party. How are you doing, sir?
Good. How about yourself, man?
Not too bad. So you said you have a really good argument that has to deal with your power as a medic regarding the law that, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So one rule that we have as a medic, and it's actually part of our protocol that we, anybody who has any sort of off mental, if we come upon somebody and they're just not acting right, if a family member calls and says they're not really responding right, we ask them essentially 4 questions to check their attachment to reality at the moment, to see if they're functionally capable of making conscious decisions for themselves. And these things they're pretty simple, like how many quarters make a dollar, what year is it, who is the current president, things like that.
I don't know if the average Gen Z can even answer that.
True. Yeah, we take a lot of them, no, but when it comes to it, my argument that I was thinking of when we were talking about the whole there's no real reason for a law to take over control of trans rights, or affect trans people with a different degree of law than anybody else, regarding their lifestyle, how they want to do that.
Agreed.
But the thing is that if we ask you those questions and I'm like, how many quarters make a dollar, and you're like, potatoes, who's the current president, Barbara Walters, if you give me those wrong answers, I have the legal right to make it known that you are not cognitive with reality. You're not fully there. You're not realizing reality. And that means that I have the right, if you do not come with me, I can have the police come and they will force you to go with me. It's something that we have. I don't fully agree with taking control over someone else's person, but if you're not able to live in reality, if you're not able to be a part of reality in that moment, then I do have that right to do that. It's just a part of the law that
Medic rule. If they have blue hair, they're crazy. So
they're venomous. So you gotta be careful.
So in relation to the trans thing, so actually, before we bring it to the trans thing, let's just say it's somebody who is like schizo, not all there, and you're right. They hurt themselves. So what exactly is your position?
Well, no, it doesn't even have to necessarily be that they hurt themselves. It could be that, Grandpa Joe, he just, he's normal all the time. He's been doing fine. He gets around, walks every day, goes out and does the yard work, but he's really off today and he's having some issues. If he tells me, potatoes and Barbara Walters, I'll say, okay, there's obviously something wrong going on here, mentally. So I request, well, I don't even request, I demand that you come with me to get checked out at a hospital. Now, what I'm saying in regards to trans, and yes, it is a little bit of a stretch because I'm not expecting a transgender person to just be like potato Barbara Walters, but even the other, the person that's debating Michael Knowles, he even states there are 2 genders. I feel as though if I have the ability to take somebody in because they can't live in reality, then there would be a justification that if you can't recognize that there's 2 genders, that you are actually this, and we have to medically treat you as what you are and not what you identify as. You're living in a state of delusion. So therefore, I'm more so. I kind of I thought the idea would be more open for you to kind of grab at, give your opinion, because I think it's kind of crazy that we can do that, because it's kind of like I said, I don't really know how I'm
sure it's necessary sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's necessary.
And so my question then would be like the not living in reality. If
right.
I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong. So you're an EMT?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. So if you, the reason I brought up being hurt is that that gives you your main purpose of being there. So let's say some 20-year-old girl just, trips over whatever and breaks her leg. She calls 911. You guys show up, and she starts acting weird. And you ask her these questions, and she answers the questions fine. But then you realize that she wholeheartedly believes in astrology to a strong degree. I don't think that would fall in line with what you're talking about, specifically if they could answer those questions, right?
I mean, true. I mean, if they told me that, the opal god, is the president, and then that would be a reason where I could do that.
So let's say, So let's say they answer the four questions. They answer those properly, but they've shown signs of not being in reality in some other way that's not directly relevant to the issue at hand. That's what I'm trying to get at. And in the same way that somebody could be kind of out there, it has to be relevant to their direct well-being, right? It can't be just like, oh, this guy's crazy.
That or others, and that's kind of where I was coming from at the point is that, we discussed the fear of someone getting hurt. The fear of someone getting hurt. Well, if you're thinking that, well, if my child is, put in a situation where they have to be, shown like drag queen story hour, if we think that's harmful, if we think that putting that person right there in that position could cause harm to the children, could cause harm to, the well-being of the people around them, I kind of see that as similar to the situation, although that transgender person may be, completely fine and talking, but it's like I was saying earlier in the chat, I feel like it's either I feel like it's either a sexual kink of degeneracy,
or definitely.
It's a delusion of, a broken mind.
Sure.
And so really when it comes down to it, none of those should be exposed to children. I don't think that we should have, we shouldn't really have people who could potentially be in an insane asylum. And I'm not saying transgender people in general, belong in an insane asylum. I'm just saying we don't put people that would be in a mental asylum. We don't allow them to get on a bus and go to Chuck E. Cheese and hang out with all the kids, because that's a potentially dangerous situation.
Right. But again, to hone in on the actual, like let's give a hypothetical situation so that we can narrow down. And I'll just give you some context before, because I'm thinking, obviously, as an atheist, I don't believe in religion. And so if you were to deal with somebody and they were religious, then that sounds.
Well, I've been here before. I know your whole stick.
There you go.
We've been buddies for a while, so like that's why I'm trying to keep that out of it. Is like I won't bring up religion.
Yeah. So the question then being, if we have a trans person who just happens to fall, and they call 911, and you show up and you want to make sure their mental faculties are there, that you ask the 4 questions, they're on point with the 4 questions, they know the date, they know their name, they know all of that stuff, but they say that they're trans, and they accept that you have to treat them as their biological sex. Even though they're not living in reality, I would assume that is not enough to get somebody.
Oh, no, absolutely. You're 100% correct on that. More so, I'm thinking that, if they know, okay, yeah, my name's Cindy, but yes, I do have a penis, and I fell and I, tore my scrotum, that's got to be dealt with, I mean, if it's that much off, if you could finish the surgery for free, we'll take that. But what I'm more so saying, and how you said that, is a transgender person fell. I'm more so thinking, if this is like, at their family's house, or if this is at their own home or anything like that, then yeah, perfectly fine. And if they do that out in public and they accept, I'm actually I've got junk down there, then great. But I think that if you're living in the delusional sense that you are this opposite thing, and you're out in public and you're doing that, and you're exposing yourself, not exposing yourself like, check me out, pulling a trench coat up.
Presenting yourself.
Yeah. But I mean, if you are really like, especially the drag queen story hour, it is a direct connection between you and those children. It's not like, hey, I'm a drag queen reading a book out loud over here. Hey, kids, don't pay attention to me.
Yeah.
But
And
it's a direct placement, and
yeah,
they're obviously not living in reality.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm trying to see, is that there's many iterations of not living in reality that
Right.
wouldn't fit. Oh, we need you to be institutionalized, or I can supersede your wishes with your own
Right.
body. And so again, using the fact that a physical injury that anybody could have is the main reason you're treating this person, and you find out that they are not living in reality because they think that they are the different gender. What will change the situation a tiny bit? Now, what if we have, and again, we'll take the actual use of the genitals out of it, because if we have somebody who's ripped their scrotum, then that kind of. But let's say again, someone breaks their leg, born as a man, and will not admit that, or they genuinely believe that they are a woman because they are trans. Would that be enough for you to say, hey, you're not living in reality, we got to take you away?
That's actually where I wanted to turn it around on you, because we talk about like how the transgender people are like a protected class of sorts. It feels like they have more rights than us at sometimes, just because of the hype, the ideology backing that, a lot of the
activism.
Yeah, the activism. When it comes down to, if that person is like, no, I'm a girl, you have to treat me like I have a vagina, it's like, all right, but and this is where that turn is that our job is that depending on where you're at, I mean, we're supposed to be kind and respectful when it comes to that kind of situation. Really, we're there to treat exactly what you're talking about. We're there to treat the leg. We're not really worried about that. If it has anything to do with it, like if there's a pregnant woman, if there's a pregnant woman that doesn't have a vagina, that's going to be kind of hard to address that. But we still have to act kind, and luckily our job is only just to transport. But it is that delusion that, oh well, if they're pregnant and they can't be pregnant, and like I said, it depends on where. Yeah, right. It's like, depending on where you're at, you can actually get like bad legal charges against you as your as a professional, medical profession. You can get in trouble because they say, well, you have to pretend, you have to go along with it. And it's like, that is literally giving them the post to say, hey, I can destroy you with my special rights.
Right.
Yet they're fighting for equal rights, which is almost the same as it's almost the same like the feminist movement now. It's like, what rights does a woman have that, or what rights does a man have that a woman doesn't?
None. And to your point, they also often have more rights, at least societally. But I think the bottom line here that I'm trying to pull out is that even is that even though we all agree that trans people are not living in reality, that in and of itself is not enough for a medical professional to say you are in danger to yourself or other people, and therefore it should be not allowed. We should be able to supersede your liberty, your rights, all of these things. And that's what Michael Knowles is arguing for. He's arguing that by merely because you believe in this, that you are crazy enough that we need to, I don't know if he would go as far as to say lock you up, but that something needs to be done. And Brad's position is more that, like, I agree with you, something's wrong with them, but in the same way that somebody could be an alcoholic, and that's really not good for you, and you could kill yourself. All go down the list. You could be, somebody who rides a motorcycle without a helmet. You could be any number of things that are not super healthy, and or things that don't comport completely with reality. And those things are not reason enough for the government or anyone to supersede your rights to be able to do that. And I think that is the proper thing. I don't think that just because you're trans, you should be locked up in society. I think it should be a more societal thing that, you're weird. That's where it should end.
Right. And I guess I'll take it this one step is like, I think, honestly, do you boo-boo, live your life. And the indoctrination is really the biggest issue that I have. And I feel as though, I kind of disagree with you on that. There's nothing that we can do as far as like a legal standpoint, because I think, just like how, if, like I said, if that drag queen is over in a library reading out loud to nobody and kids just happen to hear it, that happens. But the direct connection with kids and it is an indoctrination. We want you to slay queen. We want you to get hyped for people that don't know what reality is. That's what they're doing to these kids.
Absolutely.
Now think of it this way: why are pedophiles not allowed to live? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say the big P word, but why are these pedophiles not allowed to live near schools? Why are they not allowed to live near parks? These are laws that actually help protect children from the very wary and serious nature that is pedophiles. So I think honestly, if it is viewed by people that it's such an issue that they have drag queen story hour, if they have these things where we are putting our children in the situation of delusional people, no, I can't haul them off and make them go to a hospital. But I think you should. I do. But I think that I don't want to do that to the nurses. Honestly, they're so nice. They deal with so much crap.
But do it to the nurses.
I think that there are some things that can be. You can look at fear and be like, well, yeah, we don't want pedophiles around kids. It's like we don't know that the pedophile is going to go after them, but we're going to make sure that they don't live close enough to get something done. And that's I feel as though especially like drag queen story out, like that it was a closed room situation. It was where these guys, they like to dress up as girls. Great. It's kind of like going to a strip club. Is that, it's a closed door facility. You go in, you see what you want to see, and then you leave. But having kids exposed to that is an entirely different thing. And I don't think that it would be wrong to say, hey, this thing that is over-sexualized, this thing that is potentially dangerous to children, I feel like there should be some rules that mean that you can't have that. I think that it should be, and it should be on the organizer, really.
That's exactly what I was going to say, is that I would want the people in society, whether it's business owners, and then, if we say a business owner decides to have a drag queen story hour, that the people, that the people decide that we shouldn't be going to that, in the same way that if we had, Playboy story hour, it would be weird for you to bring your kids to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that there is, and I'll give you, I'll say this and give you the last word. But I think the difference with the sex offenders is the fact that they've already committed a crime, and being a pedophile, being a PDF is already something that you did that is illegal, and I just don't think
and that's a fair point.
Even though there is higher instances of a whole list of bullshit, whether it's crimes or mental illnesses or anything else, I don't think that it makes sense, based on our laws, to let that be enough to say, okay, here is an issue. I think we, as much as we don't like it, as much as we don't like drag queen story hour, as much as we don't like the transes, I mean, the kids is a different story, but we're talking about adults here. As much as we don't like it, laws exist, and liberty and freedom is important, not only for the things that you like, but for the things that you dislike. So unless we have a direct connection between, because you are going to drag queen story hour, then XYZ bad thing automatically happens, then you and I can hate it as much as we want, but that doesn't make it illegal, and it shouldn't make it illegal.
No, absolutely. I do agree with that. Honestly, what I feel should happen is I think Chris Hansen has kind of worn out the whole, To Catch a Predator type thing. I think we should get Chris Hansen to stage like a drag queen story hour, and then as soon as the parents walk in, we're like, have a seat, let's talk. Why are you bringing your kid here, to see this tonight?
Exactly. And how, not only would that be awesome, but how much more effective would that be than Ron DeSantis and the Don't Say Gay bill, where they can't even get the name right?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, and that's the thing, is I think that a lot of, yes, there are definitely, like how I'm not a big fan of it. I think that they should have equal rights to us. I don't think they should have extra protections. And I think that really, when it comes down to it, there should be something that makes it so that we hold people accountable for the things, like having Chris Hansen, talk to these parents. I feel like a lot of what it is I feel a lot of conservatives are very, they're very guarded, and I feel like a lot of these activists are fighting ghosts.
Very true.
So we're both swinging in the dark, and we're going to connect a few times, but really it's not going to do much damage. We're just going to tire ourselves out.
I think you're absolutely right, and that's exactly why, if we have our position clear and able to be articulated, because of the fact that we have the normal and real position, then ideally it should be the case that we can just argue this out in the marketplace of ideas.
Right.
It doesn't always work out perfectly, but with something this extreme, it should, as long as people are willing to speak up.
It's just unfortunate that the division of, both the sides, we're so far on the sides of the spectrum that, a lot of people can't have communications like this, to where, we don't have very unsimilar points. You and I, like, we disagree on a few things, but you can't really get a full-blown activist to talk to a full-blown conservative and truly have any, I hate to say it, any true ground met. And like
I'm working on it, buddy. I'm working on it. And that's really the goal. So I really do appreciate this perspective that you've given, because obviously I didn't know what you were going to say, and I'm always looking to take other people's perspectives and see how it fits with mine, and to try to like, when you came up, my idea is, okay, let me see if anything that Dietrich says refutes anything of my bottom line here. And in fact, it did the opposite. And so, hey, word up, I feel even more right. So, and even if people disagree, I think the conversation is so important because of how serious the effects can be. So thank you very, very much for coming up. Anything you want to shout out to the people? Any social media, anything like that?
No, not really, man. I'm just me. Just catch me in the stream.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I'm already in the after party for the members. We'll let Dietrich go. We got a little bit here from Indie Film, and then we're going to close it down. But Dietrich, thank you so very, very much for stopping by. I really appreciate the perspective.
No problem, man. Peace.
You have a good one. All right. What did we miss from Mr. Indie Film? So we're talking about Michael Knowles. So it's unfortunate because he sells cigars, but I think there should be one age for adulthood, driving cigarette. Oh, okay. So, gotcha. You're saying there should be one age for all of them. Plus, okay, gotcha. And his film said, I myself think it should be 18, but if you think it's 25, that's fine, but it should cover everything: voting, smoking, drinking, driving over property, etc. Yep, all 25. Because then it not only puts people in a better position to not make bad decisions because they're young and naive and whatever, but it also completely forgot what I was going to say. What the fuck did I just say? What the fuck did you just say? Come on, man. Oh yeah, I think it will better help society in the sense that if you're a 19-year-old Gen Zer, that you're not in the mindset that like, oh my God, I'm already 19. I should be out of the house. I should have a job. I should have a family. That's not how the world works anymore. And so I think that can be adjusted, and then parents will be more amenable to accept a 19, 20, 21-year-old as still a child. And then when you hit 25 and you actually go out into the world, you're actually as prepared as the 1930 version of an 18-year-old. Yeah, no. Guys, if you are a member, I am already in the after party. I'm not waiting for anybody, so head in there right meow. Glumtex said I walk in after a hard day of work and my wife hits me with the I love how you're speaking for all women when it comes to transes in our bathroom. Doing the Lord's work, baby. Dilly to that, and dilly to Mrs. Quamtech. Yeah, anyone saying some parents think it's okay to put cigarettes out on their kids' backs, and even that, based on Dietrich's questionnaire, the 4 questions that you ask to make sure if they're with it, then you can have this situation, and that parent is perfectly able to answer these questions. It's just a different issue then. Now we're not talking about somebody who can't operate properly because they don't understand reality. We're just talking about a shitty piece of shit who wants to fucking hurt their kids, which we already have laws and structures for. And I don't think that needs to change how we look at the transes. Everyone said, I may just be a boomer, but when I was 18, I was expected to be an adult. I mean, these days, yeah, that's kind of like an okay boomer statement. Like the average 18-year-old is expected the average 18-year-old in 2025 is expected to have a job, a house, a car. I mean, all these things. It's not realistic anymore. But societally, we look at 18 as that number, and it's arbitrary. So let's adjust it to help everybody. That's my plan. I don't know about you guys, but I think I'm fucking brilliant. Let me know what you guys think. Again, if you are new here, please do hit that subscribe. I am live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. So hit the bell so you never miss an Indian Jesus live party ever again. I've been dropping videos almost every single day as well, so you're definitely going to want to check those. I tried to cover some pieces of the Charlie Kirk, Gavin Newsom thing, but they copyright that so quick. So I did a little face cam. Let me know what you guys think. Again, if you are not in the Discord, guys, it's fucking free. It's free. How much shit do you get for free? None? Exactly. Go get your free shit. Worst case scenario, you're like, fuck this. I don't want it anymore. But either way, I want to thank you guys for being here. I know it is a Friday night. You could be doing anything you want, yet you are here hanging out with me and Morty, and it means the world. So once again, guys, this is our co-host Morty, and I have been Lutch, your host, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, we are out of here. And look at any film for the real kids, the cool kids. We are out of here. Peace.